You know, in my streaming career, I've made significantly more than I ever made as a chess player, so I'm gonna leave it at that. But yes, Levy's done great. I've done great off the whole streaming YouTube content creation thing, which is also, this is from Chessbase. It says, it is official, Magnus Carlsen will not play in the candidates. As expected, Magnus Carlsen has now announced on his X account that he won't be playing in the candidates tournament in Toronto in April, even though he qualified by winning the World Cup 2023 and by being the world's #1 on the rating list. GMHikaru from Azerbaijan, who lost to Carlsen in the semifinals of the World Cup, will get Carlsen's place in the candidates. So let's keep going with the article. It says, following the public, or actually, can you guys see this? Maybe you can't see it. Yeah, now you can see it. It says, following the publication of the world ranking list from January 1st, 2023, FIDE has announced a list of participants for the candidates tournament. Actually, it means January 1st, 2024, and the women's candidates tournament. Okay, the latest players to be added are Alireza Firouzja as the highest rated player on the list, who is not already qualified, and D. Gukesh for a second place finish in the FIDE circuit. Fabiano Caruana, the winner of the FIDE circuit, who is already qualified. Humpy Canero qualified for the women's tournaments thanks to her rating. Here are the players who qualified for the candidates. So what I'm going to say before we get too deep into the weeds here is I actually think it's somewhat disingenuous by FIDE to put Magnus's name on the 2024 candidates. Magnus for a very long time has stated very clearly that he does not intend to play, and I think that FIDE putting this graphic out is just frankly wrong. I think it's just wrong. Like, putting this list of players feels like they're trying to milk Magnus by using his image when Magnus very clearly has no interest in competing. So I do think that's why Magnus put out that tweet, is he found it kind of annoying that they put his face on here when he very clearly had stated he wouldn't be competing. At any rate, there's the list. It says, on X, FIDE has published a list with the qualified players and invited them to the candidates. All right, there we go. Carlsen immediately replied via X, where he thanked for the invitation but declined it by quoting Groucho Marx. Thanks for the invite. I just don't want to belong to any club that would have me as a member right now. Now, I think Magnus putting out this tweet, obviously he uses a quote, so we don't know what he's referring to, but I think Magnus was probably quite peeved by the fact they put his name on, they put his picture and his name on this graphic when he said after the World Cup in Azerbaijan that he wouldn't play. And I think he probably was quite unhappy that they did it, because it feels like they are trying to milk it when they could have put Abasov's picture there because they knew that Magnus would not play. At any rate, the article continues. Here we go. It says, this seems to be the end of the Classical World Championship for the 17th world champion, at least for the time being. After a rocket-like rise to the top of the world rankings, the Norwegian won the title at the 2013 World Championship in Chennai by defeating Vishy Anand. In 2014, Anand won the candidates tournament, and the match was repeated under different circumstances, with Magnus Carlsen as the defending champion and Anand as the challenger. Carlsen defended his title and had to play again in New York in 2016, this time against Sergei Karyakin. It was a very close match. Carlsen was nominally the better player but fell behind. He then managed to equalize and then won the playoffs by a clear margin. In the 2018 World Championship match in London against Fabiano Caruana, the US Grandmaster proved to be an equal opponent. All the games ended in draws, but Carlsen again won in the playoff. In 2021, Carlsen defended his title again, this time against Jan Nepomniachtchi. The Russian challenger initially held his own, but collapsed after losing in the crucial sixth game of the match. In the sixth game of the match, longest in World Championship history, 136 moves. During the match, Carlsen had already indicated that he did not want to play another World Championship match in the current format. So, yes, Magnus was quoting Groucho Marx. That's who he was quoting. Last article we're going to cover before we move on is this one from chess.com. It says the biggest chess prize winners in 2023 and how much they made. Written by Nathaniel Green from chess.com. In 2023, GM Magnus Carlsen became the first player to eclipse $10 million in lifetime winnings from just major tournaments alone. Never mind from sponsorships or royalties or helping to run a business. After winning more than $700,000 in 2023, he is the all-time leader, passing GM Vishy Anand. But Carlsen wasn't the biggest money winner of 2023. That honor belonged to GM Ding Liren. Ding Liren, victor in the $2 million World Championship. That's not right, you guys. That is not right. Maybe as players that's right, but that's not right. There are two people who are probably missing from this list who earn more than Ding Liren. But let's keep going. Despite falling ill and not playing for most of the rest of the year, he retained his cash lead on runner-up GM Nepomucene, although it was a virtual tie with less than $2,000 separating them. Nepomucene was also a 2023 tournament millionaire, even though, unlike Ding, he had more work to do after the championship match to reach the milestone. Now, one thing I'm going to say is, you know, I've actually, a lot of people say things to me behind the scenes, and, you know, I generally say so-and-so said this or so-and-so said that, but if we're looking at prize money, the biggest winner, almost certainly, if we look at the tax structure, is Jan Nepomucene. And the reason I say it's Jan and not Ding is because I heard directly from Levon Aronian, actually, that apparently the Chinese Chess Federation takes 80% of the prize money from the players. This is what I heard, that they take 80% of the prize money. So I don't know if that's true, but that's what I heard. So the biggest winner most likely was Ding Liren. But let's keep going with this article. We have prizes are tracked. Okay, so we keep going with this article. We have, in addition to the World Championship contenders, several usual suspects had another great year, earning at least $250,000 with Carlsen, GM Fabiano Caruana, GM Wesley So, GM Hikaru Nakamura, and GM Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. And that's just from prize money in major tournaments, except national championships and team events. It also does not include streaming revenue, coaching income, appearance fees, sponsorships, or government grants, nor does it take out for travel expenses, which became an issue for the World Rapid and Blitz in Samarkand, Uzbekistan. Okay. All right. After only one woman, GM Tan Zhangji earned six figures last year. Two women reached that mark this year thanks to the $500,000 World Championship in July, where GM Zhu Wenjun defeated GM Lei Tingjie. Both of them also earned up over $250,000 a year. Now, both of them are also from China, so who knows how much they made, but it is still a good thing to see them make that much money in prize fund. Okay. Rounding out the top 10 after Ding, Nepomucene, Carlsen, Caruana, Soju, Nakamura, Vachier-Lagrave, and Lei was GM Noterbek Abdusarov, just ahead of GM Alireza Firouzja. The one comma club, also known as $100,000. Here is a complete list of players who won the $100,000 in major tournaments throughout the year from the World Rapid Masters in February to the FIDE World Blitz Championship that ended on December 30th. Okay, so here we go. The real question is how many players were in the two comma club. The two comma club is a more interesting question than the one comma club, but I don't think anybody made the three comma club, by the way, in case anyone's wondering. But let's see what we have. We have GM Ding Liren with 1.2 million, Nepo 1.2 million, Magnus Carlsen with 705,000. Fabiano had a great year playing every event under the sun, 18 events, and he won $638,000. Fifth place was Wesley So with 394. Sixth place was Zhu Wenjun with 354. Seventh place was Hikaru with $284,000. Maxime Vachier-Lagrave made $282,000. Lei Tingjie made $257,000. And these are the only people who made $250,000 a year. Everybody else is below that. Duda, by the way, a remarkable player from Poland, he made $112,000. And actually, let's look at this list. You know who's second to the bottom? GM Vladimir Fedoseev is at the bottom. He made $118,000, and Fedoseev made $50,000 of that 118 in the World Rapid Championship when he finished in second place. So when you look at Fedoseev, think about Fedoseev making $68,000. Making that last round draw against Andreikin was epically big for him, because that literally was 50% of his income hung upon that one final game in the World Rapid Championship. So really, really happy to see Fedoseev get $118,000. Off of especially with that big event here to end the year. Now, obviously, as we look at this list, there are a couple things that are very clear. The list is wrong. I will say that. We know the top three. I'm not going to say the order because I can't. I mean, I don't know about the other two, but the top three players in no specific order are most likely Magnus Carlsen, Hikaru Nakamura, and Levi Rosman, if we're looking at chess as a whole. All right. So, two players reached $90,000 but couldn't quite get to six figures. They were GMs Alexander Goryachkina and Daniil Dubov. Those were the two who were closest. The United States had the most players on the six-figure winners list of any country with 5: Caruana, So, Nakamura, Aronian, and Dominguez, followed by India with Bort Gukesh, Vida Arjun, and Pragnanandha. All-time update. Carlsen hitting 10 million in winnings and passing Anand wasn't the only major development on the all-time list in 2023. Nepomucene and Caruana hit the 3 million mark. Sorry. They hit the 3 million mark, the 8th and 9th players to do so, while Ding and So became the 15th and 16th players to reach 2 million. The opponent jumped into the top 10 all the way up to the 6th. Here's a complete list of all the players winning. Sorry, I'm sorry. I can't say why I was laughing at that, but it's just funny, okay? It's just funny, but let's keep going. Yeah, so we're talking about these players. Let's see. Magnus number 1, Vishy number 2, Gary number 3, Karbov number 4, Kramnik number 5. Okay, not so bad. So yeah, it's something. So it's an article. I mean, it doesn't talk about the greed is real laughing at 3 million. I can't say what's funny about that, but anyway, let's keep going with the article. The number of players at 1 million or more remains at 27, where it was the first time of our article on all-time winnings from the summer of 2022. Next year might see 3 new members, however, with Ferrugia, Duda, and Zhu Wenjun all needing less than $150,000 to get there. Zhu would become the first woman to reach the $1 million mark, thanks in part to significant increase in the prize fund for the FIDE Women's World Championship in recent years. Top events of 2023. The 2.2 million World Championship match between Ding and Nepomniachtchi was the most lucrative of the year, while a $553,000 match between Zhu and Lei ranked 4th. In between the World Cup, in which the open field had $1,834,000 available for the women's field, another $676,250 rounding out the top field was the 460 Grand Swiss. Below are all the year's major open events, along with first place prize winner and the amount. Okay. In conclusion, in 2024, there's both the Canada's Tournament and World Championship, giving ample opportunity for big cash money with the Champions Chess Tour, Grand Chess Tour, and World Rapid and Blitz, all back on the docket as well. Who will claim the largest slice of the prize pie? Stay tuned throughout the year to find out. Now, this article, it's very, I'm going to be honest, it's very hard for me to read this article. It's very hard for me to read this article simply because I made a comment a while back. You know, I made a comment a while back, and I think I've said it before, but you know, in my streaming career, I've made significantly more than I ever made as a chess player, so I'm gonna leave it at that. But yes, Levy's done great. I've done great off the whole streaming YouTube content creation thing. And this really speaks volumes to why, when we look at chess, like very specifically, anyone outside the top 10 in the world, they do have to make decisions about games and draws and things to ensure they are able to continue playing top level tournaments. Like Vladimir Fedoseev is an amazing player, really a big fan of his, but if he didn't have this cash for 50K in the World Rapid, he would have made $68,000, and that's before taxes, before expenses. And so with the players who are not at the very top, it's a very brutal lifestyle, a very brutal living, trying to make money. It's very, very hard. Extremely hard to go from tournament to tournament. Prague is a billionaire. Prague definitely is doing very, very well. I'm very happy for all Indians who are getting great support from their country, but that is not representative of other countries. So this is the thing that people, I think, continue to miss, and why I think if we look at the whole draw ratio and all that other stuff, like the draws are not going anywhere. Players who are not in the absolute top 10, they do have to worry about making money. They do have to worry about staying at the top. So you will continue to see draws throughout many of these open events as we move forward into next couple of years. So that's the last article that I want to cover.